very excited that many of you are very excited about a tour to these countries that sent you all this crazy hard music you're learning at the moment, which Sasha was telling me a little bit about. I wouldn't dare to try and improve upon what Mark is already telling you about the music you're learning, but I'm sure he's mentioned something about the countries the music comes from. They're incredible places. They're loosely called the Baltics, all four of those flags, but Finland technically is not a Baltic state.
Finland's not?
Finland is technically not a Baltic state, and a lot of people call Finland Scandinavian, and then the Finns don't like that either, so just call it Finland.
So the flags, according to how they're displayed on the titles?
Yes, they're in order.
So Finland's blue and one white. Okay.
Right? Yeah. Finland and Finnish and Estonian are part of the same Finno-Ugric language group. Latvian and Lithuanian are the two remaining languages in the Baltic language group. Prussian was another one of those, but it's died out. So even though Estonia is a Baltic state, they don't speak a Baltic language. They speak a language close to Finnish. And just before we get started, a cool anecdote I learned was that when they were part of the Soviet Union, they could get Finnish radio and they could understand it well enough to know what was going on. So it was that linguistic bridge across the Gulf.
So which of those flags is which? That's the...
I'm pretty sure he's right that it's in order. I'm sorry that I'm not the expert.
The left is definitely Finland.
Yeah, Finland, and that's definitely Estonia. I know the Estonian flag. I'm just not sure if Latvia and Lithuania are in the correct
is the red,
order.
green, and yellow.
Oh, then there we go. I'll have to compliment my colleague on putting the flags in the correct order. So here is the proposed route, and you see it's very linear. It's so efficient to fly into Helsinki and ferry to Tallinn, and then bus from Tallinn to Riga to Vilnius, and fly out of Vilnius. You see 4 different countries, 4 different languages, 1 different currency, which is nice. They're all euros, so it's yeah.
Assuming the euro still exists. Yeah.
Oh, right, that's true. Assuming the European Union is still a thing by the time you go, then they'll probably still be using that shiny money they have now.
I'm just trying to complicate things.
I haven't heard of a Lifexit or a Latexit or an Estexit or a Finexit, so I think we're good.
I'm going to put the slideshow onto the calling all choir.
Oh, so I don't have to
If that's okay with you.
Yeah,
If
that would
that's
be
okay
great.
with you.
Yeah, it's not
Because
your
it's a
intellectual
private
property
one,
as
so
much as mine. I mean,
okay.
it isn't
Great.
anything. I'm just trying to get you guys excited to go, so the more you spread the gospel, the better.
Now, are all these cities, are they all the main cities of these countries?
They're the largest and capital cities of each country, and they're in a nice line, and particularly the line from Tallinn to Riga to Vilnius. Has Mark preached to you about the Singing Revolution, the documentary that anyone who hasn't seen it needs to see? Okay, good. In the Singing Revolution, they refer to people lining up for 600 miles holding hands along the main road.
Oh,
and it's actually the route
Oh,
you will travel from Tallinn to Riga to Vilnius. So imagine like a line of humans connected along the road, hundreds and hundreds of miles in solidarity. So as you get a sense from that documentary and maybe some of the things Mark has told you, that especially the bottom 3 as part of the Soviet Union were united against a common oppressor and still feel a fair amount of solidarity, although, like Sweden and Switzerland, Latvians and Lithuanians do not like to get mixed up. So by the time you come back from your tour, you'll...
That's so weird, having that little piece of
Russia staring at you.
Really?
That's
I was
Russia.
looking
That's
at
Russia.
it and I was
That
Kaliningrad.
used to be East Prussia, didn't it?
East Prussia.
No, it's just a separate part. Like there's
Yes,
to get to that part of
isolated.
Russia, you have to either
cross,
fly or cross another country.
What?
It's sort of like their Alaska.
That's Poland, I think.
Yeah,
Was that
yeah.
Ukraine? Oh, no.
No, that's Poland. So if you go down there, it's
Minsk is
And that's
Warsaw.
that's
Minsk is
Belarus.
Belarus.
So
Belarus.
Russia itself is
Belarus.
there.
Yeah, and as you see, St. Petersburg is really not far from Tallinn. We have
No.
groups that do all that, but I think what you have proposed is really, really great. So,
So are we going any place besides the big cities?
well, yeah, Mark has a lot of ideas for a specific place in Lithuania.
It's in eastern Lithuania.
Yeah.
Here somewhere.
Yeah. So this is a proposal itinerary, and if you guys have a quorum of people sign up and contract, even if you sign a contract, it doesn't mean that that has to be the final itinerary. It just means you're going to go to this general neck of the woods. But we're happy to tweak as we go along, and especially if Mark has connections there, as he does, to get you outside big cities. If that's a priority, we will do that. But for today's purposes, the 4 stars are the main stops on the itinerary.
What's the approximate mileage? I'm just curious. I can't tell by looking. I mean, the
It's
distance.
about 600 miles from Tallinn to Vilnius, and then the Gulf of Finland is an hour-and-a-half ferry ride. So I'm not really sure about miles,
okay.
but nautical. It's that's actually, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me talk through the itinerary really briefly. So here's Helsinki by night, dominated by the cathedral. Helsinki is a very handsome town, city, sorry, that feels like a town the way a European city does. I don't know what that is.
Is
but
that
it's
where you
pretty.
did the dinner thing in the
It
sky?
Could be. Could be. So we like to start our groups off in Helsinki because it's a great place to get over jet lag. It's a quiet, very approachable city, and not as much hustle and bustle as some of the ones that we're used to, certainly, and also the next 3 stops. So I think it's a really great place to sort of get on European time zone and
Do they speak English there?
Yeah.
Everybody.
everyone in these countries that you'll
really?
be working with. No, sorry. I mean, there's a lot of English spoken. It's not prevalent. Like if you went to Japan, you'd find lots of people who spoke English, but you'd also find lots of people who didn't. It's that sort of thing.
Great daytime.
That's a bit more spring-like view of it. It dominates the city, as you can see, and it's a Lutheran cathedral. This is Lutheran country.
Lutheran, you said?
Yep.
You stand for
Yep. And
Oh.
and we've all heard of, has this wacky memorial built to him that's sort of like a corroded pipe organ on crack. It's really cool, and it's really neat to, that picture gives you an impression of how striking it is, but to be under it and around it is even more so. We've had a lot of groups go there and sing Finlandia or play Finlandia. if
Does
they're
it
an
have?
orchestra.
So does it have a kind of sound?
No.
resonating?
It's not an actual musical instrument,
But
but it's certainly
if you
reminiscent.
sing
of,
underneath it, does it kind of?
Ruth, you're going to find that out.
Okay.
I don't know for a fact if
Okay.
it has any acoustic properties.
Looks like it should.
But if there's any choir that can find it out, I think yours is the one. That is a modern church, also Lutheran, copper roof. You can't really maybe see it so well in the picture, but it is an amazing structure. It was hewn literally out of this massive piece of rock in the middle of the city with this light streaming in. So that is, as you see, possible performance venue. That's
Wow.
definitely where we'd like you to sing. I actually can't think of a choir that is better suited to it because of the eclectic repertoire you guys do, and the whole roundness of it, I think, would be a really fabulous way to start it off. So that is our aim, and the sooner we let them know you're coming, the more likely it is that it'll still be free. So 2 days in Helsinki, and then a Viking cruise for an hour and a half to Tallinn. I did not expect that. It said ferry on the itinerary, but I actually shadowed a group that went here, and sure enough, it was a floating city with duty-free and spas and
Goodness.
all-you-can-eat buffets. It was very surreal.
All
but
you can
we were-
eat
but
in
we were-
an hour and a half.
Well, they took us to a place where they still fed us, but it wasn't it wasn't like the full-on cruise experience. We were in some, but it is definitely, you didn't even realize you were on the ship, and then suddenly you're moving, and then you get off. You don't realize that you've left. But there's Tallinn, so a view from a similar view to what you'll be seeing as you come across from Finland. beautiful, beautiful city. You'll see you see all of the spires of the Lutheran churches on the left and the right, and then that Orthodox in the middle. Certainly not because of very pre-Soviet, but Russian influence has been in the area for a long, long time. So it's a melting pot of cultures. And that is the Song Festival site featured prominently in the documentary and
Right.
built during the Soviet era, and the place of massive and very creative vocal rebellion.
And we're gonna fill that?
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to get a lot of
No, you
enrollment.
don't see possible venue.
Yeah,
No, I don't
I
see
mean,
the possible.
Basically, if you can get that many people to come on tour, then I mean, no. When you're there, that is Tompeia Hill. It's a beautiful medieval hill with you see the Orthodox Church and the Lutheran Church in the foreground, and then back there with the round tower is Tompeia Castle. It's an amazing.
So is that the
Jewel
church we
box.
could see from the other view?
Yeah, exactly. One of them, and then the other
Right.
one's over there, I think. So that's definitely part of the guided tour, and it's like walking around a medieval town, and it's like many former Soviet countries. While we in the West were busy destroying all of our stuff and putting up malls, they weren't. So it's still quite beautiful and untouched. That's Keaton de Kock, which is a town landmark. It was called that because from the top you were supposed to be able to see into everybody's kitchen, which maybe the Estonians were big on spying even before the Soviets got there. But, it's just a kind of squat, funny tower that'll be part of your tour. This is the Blackheads Hall. The Order of the Blackheads is, I'll just quote verbatim what I saw on Wikipedia. It was an order from the medieval times of unmarried guildsmen, artisans. So I guess it was before you got a wife, you had buddies to hang out with, and there are Blackheads halls throughout the Baltics. This one is particularly noted, and they host a lot of concerts. So it's a beautiful space. You can see the vaulted ceilings. The building outside is quite distinctive too. So very few repertoire restrictions, which is great because it's a secular venue. So we think it would be a great place for you guys. Too long after, there's the main square in Riga, which is pretty impressive.
Wow.
Yeah, like gingerbread city. Very
And a
different
cake
from
with
Estonia.
gingerbread.
Not a port. Well, no, I'm sorry, it is a port. It's on the water too. But each one of these countries is just so different that within the space of relatively short distances, you get very different experiences. There's Riga Castle. It'll be on your tour. I'll fill in the adjective. These are the three brothers, very famous medieval houses that are basically in their original state. That'll be on your tour. In their original state. That'll be on your tour. And this is the Guild Hall, similar to Blackhead's Hall, so a guildman space that great venues, concert poster on the side. This is also another secular venue that we think would be great for your concert. So that's what we're aiming for. And then on to Vilnius, and this is Vilnius by night. It is my colleague Nick, the director of sales for our European office. It is his favorite city in Europe. Old town. It's got this 18th century cool neoclassical cathedral with
Looks like a lighthouse.
well, and then the
exactly.
tower is like kind of in Florence. It's like off to the side, but I mean they're so disjunct. It's funny. Apart from the top, I mean you wouldn't even really think they were related to each other. This is the old town, which is lovely. It's like Parisian, people eating out on the streets, all these windy streets. So like I was saying, it's my colleague Nick's favorite old town in Europe, and he's European. this is the church we would like you to finish the tour in. It is a church, and it is beautiful and pretty incredible on the inside.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's amazing. That's
if
what
you
they,
see
is
a
that what they call
Baroque church-
Rococo or something?
I
just
think that's full on Baroque. It could be Rococo because it's kind of
It's
over the top
just-
Baroque. I don't know.
It is, it's over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you get outside music, I'm not so good with the actual periods. Sure, but I mean, Baroque over the top, it's Rococo to me. But like, look at all that marble and the different colors.
It's
So,
fantastic.
and not only is it amazing to look at, but it is a really beautiful church to sing in. And a very active concert series. All kinds of groups come through there. And that, my friends, is where we would send you back, regretfully, to America on a plane in Vilnius. So this is a very short sampling of what you would experience if you actually went, and I hope you do. And I'm opening up the floor to questions unless you want me to say anything more.
How long is this?
Is where we would send you back, regretfully, to America on a plane in Vilnius. So this is a very short sampling of what you would experience if you actually went, and I hope you do. And I'm opening up the floor to questions unless you want me to say anything more.
How long is this? What are the dates?
It is 9 nights on the ground, so 1 night will be in the air. So all told, it would be 11 days, 10 nights, from when you leave San Francisco to
Right.
when you get back.
And
It
what-
could be longer. I mean, like, I think that this is a very efficient, and you won't feel rushed. If you want to get sort of outside the cities, as Mark has mentioned, then we might consider adding a day. Right now, the euro is, I think the dollar is very strong against the euro, so, you know, it's the time to stretch things if you wish, because we can go be ugly Americans and spend our dollars.
And you said that if people wanted to stay longer or,
Yeah.
or,
How does
or
that
go
work?
earlier,
I
that
work
you could do
individually
it.
with everybody who does that, so
Right.
you don't have to do like, it's not like some companies will say you can stay a week longer, you can stay 2 weeks longer, you have to come back from this. I just work with each one individually, and our group reps at all the airlines. Lufthansa is a really good carrier generally from the west coast into Finland and out of Vilnius, so that would be a big contender. I just work with the group rep at Lufthansa, say, to say that you want to come back from Vienna 3 weeks later, or you want to come back from Vilnius.
Because
2
I know
days
there's
later.
the Latvian big festival is
Mhm.
right after.
Right, so if people wanted to stay and
Yeah.
come back from Riga, that would be fun
If we
too.
went, the timing at the moment.
Approximate dates?
Well, you haven't nailed down the specific dates, so we're flexible.
We were
but
thinking of the sort of end of June, I think,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
So that it would end like the last day of June, that kind of
And
thing.
there's a music festival in Latvia?
Yeah, there's a singing choral festival.
In the
Big one of their big choral.
in the big
Yeah, it's a
It's like
In
their
the
summer
s-
solstice
That was in Tallinn.
festival.
oh, that was in Tallinn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's
big,
like their
the
summer
big.
solstice.
Yeah,
but
like
Riga,
those ones we've seen.
Riga also has,
yeah,
you know,
like we've seen
mass
in the
congregation
videos.
sites for chorus. It's just the one Tallinn gets all the play in the documentary.
Okay.
This one is in Riga, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, so I work individually with those who want to extend their stay. One thing I've been asked to put forth to people is that you guys are not roughing it, but you're opting for tourist class hotels in in Eastern Europe, former Soviet countries, and we'd just like to put out that for an extra €90 per participant, we could get you into superior tourist class, which might be worth the investment.
90 for the whole trip, not
Yeah.
90 for 90.
No,
Okay.
no, because actually when you add that up, and yeah, it's actually not that much different. But
Didn't
just
you
that
say
little
something
extra.
about it was something interesting? I remember when we had a meeting with Jefferson, just the
At Mark's house?
three of
Yeah.
us. Yeah, that's right, Mark's house. And I remember something that the old Soviet hotels, or the tourist class hotels, are more in the center. Is it? And the other ones, the nicer hotels, are outside the center, or is it the other way around?
Oh, it's very hard to generalize. In
Oh,
Tallinn
really?
specifically,
Right.
there's a really fancy hotel that has maintained a very high standard. That is the old hotel that the Finns built, but the Soviets had them build for Westerners to stay in, and that's the one with the KGB museum on top. So that's very nice.
That
And
would be fun to stay.
It would be. It would be. I can tell you the group I shadowed was a college group, and they stayed in tourist class hotels, and they were perfectly lovely. I stayed in them with them, and
Right.
so
Oh,
it's
good.
not like your what you have now is perfectly fine, but you know, if you just want to have that little extra,
There isn't a babushka still sitting on the landings watching you.
no. But that is the hotel.
Collecting euros for toilet paper.
No. These were spies. They
Yeah.
use babushkas.
Yeah,
They're
I'm sure they still
recording all the
collected
Western.
Yeah,
money.
they
Probably
did.
that was their cover.
That's true.
I had that experience in India. I didn't have that in these countries. I think we definitely put you in hotels where the toilet paper is included.
So the tourist hotels then hallway bathrooms.
No. So both what's on this proposal and what we're proposing are both twin occupancy with private bathroom. So that's what I mean is that the tourist hotels are quite fine.
Right.
They're quite nice, and I'm not trying to say,
So there
hey, I
isn't
showed
a-
you this price, but now for an extra 90. No, I mean it's really fine. Many of our adult groups end up going with the superior tourist class just because it's a little bit more comfortable. You guys are
Less-
intrepid.
Less exotic.
Yeah.
I like the idea of being in town though, so that you
Yeah.
can walk around and not be
Yeah, I
And then
prefer that too.
outside of town and try to call.
So whichever.
That's
way
that is a very good point. That
Yeah.
within a superior tourist class budget, we can kind of prioritize location and or standard. And so, if your priority is location, if the group's priority is location,
Right.
that allows us to do that more easily.
I don't know, what do other people think? You prefer
Location.
Location.
How many people have to sign up to make the trip viable?
We have prices for 40, 60, 40 and 60. Viable from my perspective is Mark and one singer if he wants, but I mean that's not really viable from anyone else's perspective. I mean we customize everything. So the prices that you see that people have been floated are based on 40 people signing up. If fewer than 40 sign up, we can still go. It just means that the price is higher. So I'm not sure how you guys want to handle that, but generally a lot of groups wait until there's a quorum of people and then they feel comfortable going forward. Because you'll have new members in the fall.
Yeah, that's right.
And
You're going to put stuff on.
It's impossible to
About that,
predict.
yeah.
And I've actually had groups where the sign up was in the spring, such a great response. They didn't want to go beyond one bus because then it became, 2 buses and 2 drivers, and that then it spikes the price until you get enough people. So then the new people would come in the fall and they didn't have any room for them. So, everyone should have such problems, but I think it's good to get a sense if a percentage of the current membership is involved, interested and committed, then you should feel pretty confident going forward because you're likely to get some new people in the fall. Some might even come to the choir because they've heard you're going on tour.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Every group's different. You might want to dissuade those people. It's like, well, join the choir because you want to be in the choir, not to go to Finland.
So what are the high price pieces from your point of view?
The high price pieces?
Just because not being used to tours, it sounds like more money than I can imagine spending on 10 days of travel. So I'm just interested in
Like what bumps up that
what
cost?
bumps up the price.
Well,
yeah.
the airfare. So
But if we do our own airfare, it's
if you do
only
your own
$300
airfare, then
less.
what
Is that
we
right?
do is we add $300 American dollars to the euro price for everyone doing their own airfare because we actually do make commission from all the group airfares. Even though the airlines won't give us any lower price, that is built into what the business they do
Right.
with us. So we have to recoup that
So if you're using miles, like if you're using frequent flyer miles, then
it's
You
basically
would
the
pay-
land price plus $300.
Right.
Oh, okay. I think
Right.
So
it
you
was
take out
presented
out
as
the airfare cost and then
the
you add
total
300.
minus
Yeah.
$300.
Exactly.
for
Right.
everybody
No.
across the
Oh,
board.
okay. I was thinking who would.
Is that on an individual basis or
Mhm.
that's every? Okay, so
Yeah.
if one person
Yeah, it's an
decided to
opt-in,
do
opt-out
miles,
for
then you
each
take
person.
off the airfare.
So,
you add 300.
do you have some sense of what the
The airfare?
Yeah.
Yeah, the estimate is 1859. So, and
okay.
you know, if people go on kayak or whatever and look up flights this year for those dates, you'll see fares much lower. Those are available for like 2 people or 3 people, and they're
Right.
often group seats that have been jettisoned by groups like ours.
Yeah, that sounds.
And they're trying to just get some money for them.
1800 sounds sort of right, because I'm flying to Europe now, and I couldn't see anything below 1500 just to that's to Germany, which is
Wow.
a good deal nearer than.
And that's about right for that time of year. My daughter, she fenced, and so
Exactly.
she would
Yeah,
go
this
every
was the same
summer.
time of year.
Yeah,
right.
she would every summer, and so every summer.
And the nice thing is that, you know, airlines are certain. Well, you won't be flying United, but airlines are not known for being, you know, warm and fuzzy. But the group fare is not a discount fare. People often think it is, but it's actually a guaranteed fare. And what they're doing is they're guaranteeing the fare, even though they know probably a lot of the seats you reserve you aren't going to end up using, because most groups reserve more than they're going to need. So it at least gives you the power to like know you have a seat at a price and know what the price is, and then throughout the year see if you have miles that you want to use or check out your own airfares. So it within reason it does give individual participants the flexibility to sort of control that aspect.
You must have mentioned the price before I arrived.
Well, the price is a combination of euros and the air estimate. So the euro price for 40 was 1683, standard tourist class hotels. For 60, it was 1454. So if you do that at current exchange rate, which is very good, it ends up being about $37.50 with our air estimate.
With airfare.
With the airfare.
With the air
For 40 people.
for 40 people, right? And
$37.50.
for 60 people, it's actually close to 3,500.
What was that again?
3,500.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you look at it that way, that your airfare is actually more than half of the cost of the tour. Once you get there, it's quite a good value.
Yeah. No, it
Because
is.
Yeah,
these
definitely.
Yeah.
these are Euro countries that are newly Euro and very interested in staying Euro countries and very
Yeah.
eager to promote tourism. So
So the
I don't know.
price-
Was I the only one that totally misunderstood that you got $300 lopped off if you went on your own? If you went,
I hope so, but probably
I
not.
hope so. Okay.
No,
I mean, it's a lot of money.
I'd heard,
Yeah.
I'd heard
Okay,
it before.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not. Okay,
Yeah.
There's much more flexibility. Than
Yeah. So if the airfare ends up being exactly this, say it's 1850, you would get 1550 in credit essentially from the tour price.
So the flight, the bus, the ferry, the bus, whatever, like all the transportation is covered, the hotels are covered, are meals covered?
Yeah, we
And
have
tours
4 dinners. So one one on arrival night in the first 2 cities, and a farewell dinner on the final night.
So then,
in
like
Vilnius.
5 nights, it's you're buying your own.
Yeah, and lunches are independent too. Breakfast is always included with the hotels,
Okay.
whether tourist class or superior tourist class, and they're generally
Right.
very, very good.
So the food sounds as though it's not very expensive anyway. Dinners, stuff like that.
No, it can be. I mean, there are really nice restaurants, and you can have that kind of dinner
Right.
when you're independent. But in terms of budget, you can also budget minimally and do quite
So
well.
what kind of restaurants are there?
Well, like Tallinn, for instance. I haven't actually been to Vilnius and
Mm.
Riga, but I did shadow the group as far as Tallinn and Helsinki, and I mean, they're very prosperous cities with lots of restaurant options. Some of them
Are they
seem
like
more
old?
touristy
Are there
than
some
others.
sort of old-fashioned Estonian cooking?
Yeah,
and stuff like that?
yeah. And-
Traditional, I should say.
And then if
Traditional.
people don't want to go so eastern, there's also like lots of German
Right.
schnitzel houses and
So
stuff
you could
like
go
that.
to different places.
Mhm.
That's so
Pretty
you're not
much
all
European foods. I didn't see
eating-
too many like Asian or anything like
Right.
that. I mean, it's not quite as cosmopolitan as an American city in that way, but you're not going there to eat Chinese food.
So do you know what kind of cooking is it? I mean, like dumplings or
We
Oh.
call them pelmeni.
pilmeni?
Pelmeni.
Knedli,
Knedlach. Yeah.
that's what they call them. But I just wondered if that's, or is it potatoes, or is it And I don't think I'm thinking of that, but
Yeah, I
Those
mean,
have-
think like
is it a lot of
Poland,
meat?
Russia,
Oh, it's sort of like Russian
right
and
in
Polish
between,
food.
kind of.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's that area of the world. So, it
Sausages.
Jewish food.
yeah.
Go to the Jewish deli.
There you go. It's just like, who's that feeling?
It's very hearty,
Oh,
filling,
there you are.
tasty, and not too exotic and not too full of fresh vegetables.
Fresh vegetables,
Yeah.
No fresh vegetable and no fruits.
No, I mean there are, and you'll be there. I was there in March, so I shouldn't even really speak to it. And we had great food while I was there, but you're going to be there at the height of summer when everything's in season. So.
Probably no kale smoothies.
Oh no, you'd be surprised. No, you'd be surprised.
When do we have to like?
Well, airfares start becoming available a year out,
Mm.
so 12 months from the departure date. So if we're talking late June, what is this? Late April. So if you guys hold yourselves in the next month or so, as your season's winding down, and there seems to be a quorum of interest, that would be a great time
Yeah, that's
to
what we were going to. I
pool
think
the
we're going to do
deposits,
something
sign the
like that.
contract, and we'll
Sasha
send
knows
it out to
how
anyone.
we're going to do. You know how we were going to do the registering and stuff. The
Oh yeah,
timing of
actually,
it.
well, I had an idea, but then I found out that wasn't working. So, but yeah, we'll
I'm
send
trying to
out-
minimize the amount of work she has to do, because
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
people
I had
sign
no
up and
idea.
give a deposit and then we actually go forward, then people will log onto our computer basically
Oh, I see,
and
and do
enter
it
all their
through you.
information.
Right.
So there's no need to collect it before.
Oh, right.
Is there a way to get
Oh, that makes it
like
much easier.
Yeah.
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 previous seasons?
Oh, I don't know.
What's the
Hmm?
question?
Well, I was thinking that, things change from season to season, so there might be people who were
Oh, for
here
one
last
year.
fall that aren't here now. Like, there should be a way to get people that maybe aren't with the choir this season but were last year, because people come and go.
Yeah, that's
First
what
I
you
thought
were
asking
saying,
about,
that
like,
people
who went on
can
the tours
people
before.
can add themselves
But-
onto the
yeah.
group.
Oh yeah, we
Later.
take your cue. A
All
body
the
is a
way up
body.
to
Like
a
as
month
long as
before.
you and Mark deem the person worthy of calling him or
Oh,
herself
we'd have to have
a
auditions.
calling
of
all
course.
choir member, then, or a calling all choir member's friend, or a calling all choir member's partner. I mean, like,
Say
you're
they're coming
here to
back,
take whoever wants to
Yeah,
go,
say-
Right.
and that you
We
will
should,
let go.
I want to post to the public page to maybe try to get people back who've been in the choir and might come back. But, yeah.
All
I
those
don't know.
people who come to the finales and say, "Oh, I'm coming back next." I mean, there is
Right.
that come and go that
Mhm.
happens.
Right. Yeah.
So
I had a group prepare a flyer that they actually just had available at their final concert.
Mhm.
Saying
Oh,
if you're
that's right.
interested in going, sign up. Now, I don't know how much you want to open it up to people who aren't actually in the choir and are just groupies, but
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to we'll have flyers which mention that there is the tour,
Mhm.
and then they should go to the website. Isn't that's the idea? But we could have one specially for the tour to see if, thus describe it in a bit more detailed flyer at the finale.
Yeah.
That might be an idea.
yeah.
If we want people who join in order to go and
Yeah.
then go away.
Of course, that might encourage all sorts of other people.
That's what I mean.
The riffraff.
Your initial poll indicated that there were a fair number of actual choir members interested in going, and then
Yeah.
it sounded like
Yeah,
a
we
lot
had
of
something-
like family members and partners
Mm.
also
Right.
interested in going.
I think what was the number on there? It was like yeah, it was
Yeah.
between 30 and
Yeah.
40 that
That's
we had
great.
signed up who were interested.
Mm.
Didn't said, "Oh, I'm not going to commit, but I'm very interested." I think it was like 40 upper.
Usually there's some
Number.
attrition, from the
Right.
initial enthusiasm, but if it's 30 or 40 and you get 30 of those, then
Right.
That is not much of a stretch to imagine getting 40 to actually go.
Can you say something about the performances?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many are expected?
One in each city. So those
One
venues I
in
was
each
showing
city,
you
mhm.
are the
Uh,
placeholder venues for your concerts. So they're
four concerts.
standalone concerts, 4 concerts. But I mean, that's also up for discussion because Mark has some connections in other places.
Yeah, Mark
and we
had
might
some
end-
ideas that
yeah.
we would have maybe go out to countryside or have some other small concerts or join with some local groups to do a concert.
That would be certainly exciting.
And the way our company works is our main European office is in London, and I work back and forth all year in preparing the tour with someone in that office who is in contact with the actual local offices in these 4 countries. And those are the people on the ground publicizing your concerts in advance, setting them up, getting the venues confirmed, and working with the venue to ensure that people come and get to appreciate what you're doing.
So other
Because
people
that's kind of the crux of
advertising
a
for us.
tour.
Right, yeah, like who's coming?
Yeah.
And who does the advertising and everything for that? For the
Our local
concerts?
offices.
Oh, your
so,
local office does that, right.
London works with them and gets the posters and
Right.
promotional materials, and then London does some online
Mhm.
publicity as well. But it's a very seamless fanning out of
Right.
resources to make sure that people know you're coming and get excited to see you and hear you.
And your organization focuses on choirs?
Music performance groups. So
Okay.
choirs
Oh,
are
wow.
a large part of our clientele. We also work with bands and orchestras and youth choirs, youth orchestras, adult choirs, adult orchestras.
You taking the gun school to Ireland next summer?
Are we? Oh, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I know the gun school because I was the manager of the youth orchestra at the symphony, and we always had lots of kids coming from gun because it's such a fine music program. But we're taking El Camino Youth Orchestra on tour this year, and yeah, we do have a lot of Bay Area youth orchestra business. But to someone's question about, maybe I answered it.
Advertising the local businesses,
Yeah.
offices.
Yeah, so right, our local reps are doing that. London's helping, and then maybe something worth saying too is that you will have a courier, an ACFEA staff member who will probably not be fluent in all 4 of these languages, but will have be well traveled in these countries and fluent in at least 1 or 2 of them, and then assisted by our local reps when he or she gets you to countries where it helps to have an interpreter. So you're never alone. You're always with someone much more qualified to be taking you around those places than I am.
And there's like one day or more than one day of getting toured around the cities. How does that work?
The city tours are generally like 3 hours, and we fit them in the morning when you don't have rehearsal. Or, yeah.
So it's like 2 days, 2 full days in each city, I think.
Yeah, and I mean that's not a lot.
No.
Yes.
So especially if something does pan out with an external excursion to another place, you might consider adding a day.
Yeah.
It is a lot of money, but again, if you think about the proportions just going to the dead dinosaurs that are burning up to get you there, then you may as well like spend the extra $90 or whatever to really get a lot out of it. So.
Yeah. I think so.
I have a question. So, you said that you were saying like how Helsinki is really nice for getting over the jet lag. So how is our jet lag managed? Like, is the schedule like adjusted in any way to like what we're?
Our general philosophy is, especially with youth groups, I mean adults we don't try to ride herd quite as much, but like keep you up during the light, even if it doesn't feel like it should be light, and then put you to bed and hope that the next morning you're sort of acclimated. And everybody's different. Everybody takes a different
But that's good.
path.
Keep you in the sunshine.
Yeah,
That's
It's
the
pretty hard not to be in the sunshine.
it's right.
In June.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
right.
very North
It'll
Coast.
be
It's
sunshine
doesn't
until
rain.
Exactly. Yeah, white nights.
Yeah, but it's still
White nights.
light.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it's actually, I think, a little easier because it's just disorienting to have such a long day anyway that whenever you want to sleep, it doesn't feel wrong or right. It just feels like I'm tired. So.
Yeah.
But it is a consideration, and given that jet lag assails some people more than others, that might be another reason to look at the possibility of extending the tour a little bit so that those that really take like a couple days to feel with it feel like they're there long enough in the moment. Well, when I originally proposed this location to Mark, I did not realize the zeal and enthusiasm with which we would welcome it, and then program all this like incredibly difficult music for you guys. So I have to say, of all the groups I've proposed this region to, I haven't had a director really like roll up his sleeves and dig in quite to the extent that Mark has.
So you'll
So-
have to come to, yeah, when we are singing in those languages.
We're aren't going to inflict our singing on those, in
But
those
we-
languages to people who speak those languages.
No, we aren't
Well,
going
I
to do
was
that.
talking to Sasha about that. I definitely want to encourage Mark to keep at least one
Yeah, I
piece
think
in each
he's,
language
he's,
alive.
he's intending
Yeah.
to do one of the local language for each concert.
I mean, I remember seeing the Vienna Boys Choir and Davies sing "The Rhythm of Life is a Powerful Thing," and I'm like, I think they're doing that to be nice. But I know you will do your music with a lot more verve than they did ours.
But no better pronunciation.
We might
Their
destroy.
pronunciation was
Yeah,
fine.
we-
it's just
we
they
might
had
destroy
no
the
soul.
language.
Yeah.
We'll destroy the language,
You know,
but not the soul.
those little German boys could pronounce the English. They just couldn't
Yeah.
really get into the feel of the song. Great. Well, I am around for any questions afterwards, and certainly if you have any questions after tonight, you're welcome to pass them on to me through Sasha.
Yeah, we can.
This
Give,
is really
yeah,
exciting.
that'd be great.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think so.
glad. I'm
Yeah.
I think for a first tour for a group like yours, or I should say for your group, because I haven't yet met a group like yours. When I met Mark and we started talking about touring, this location leapt to my mind. I mean, just your motto, like the really cool kind of.
Yeah, the whole kind of calling.
The Soviet
logo.
Yeah, well, but more like like the People's Choir.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I
the
feel
People's
like-
Choir. It is a bit like that,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I
that,
feel like
that
you guys will bring a lot
logo.
to them, and you'll get a lot out of them. So,
Cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Yes, so
Thank you so
maybe
much for making the
we'll
time.
have you back in touch. Maybe in the fall, when you could do another presentation for
Yeah,
people who
for,
might
like,
be
the new
interested in
members
the
and-
fall and in the spring.
Great.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
thanks
and
very
if you,
much,
and
Jefferson.
if you don't get a quorum, let's just talk worst case scenario for a second. If you don't get a quorum this season, I mean, we can still talk in the fall about
Right.
even starting from there. But it's great if you can
We'll
start
try to get in
Yeah.
12
touch.
months out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a perfect time to start and make sure that venues are healthy.
Thanks very much. Really.
Thank
This
you.
was really
Thank you so much for the
I'm already-
Oh, did you
wonderful-
like
I've
it?
never had a
Isn't it
a
fun?
smoother
I try to
PowerPoint
some-
experience.
I know, but you're welcome to come and give one at the house anytime.